What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. Forgive my hair, I just got out of the shower for like nearly 2 hours ago. And the weather is miserable, it's been raining. Anyways, it's time for me to do another 2013 album review. For this one I'm going to be reviewing the new Chimera album entitled Crown of Phantoms. Now for those who don't know the band, Chimera are a metalcore band, and they can be bringing a lot of groove metal pieces with the metalcore sound and just come up with some very good style of creativity. And I love Chimera, they're one of my favourite metal bands, and I don't own every album from their discography, and I'll show you them right now. So I only got their self-titled album and Resurrection, The Impossibility of Reason, and this album are my two personal favourites. And fucking hell! Sorry guys, I just had to shut the windows there. But anyways, Chimera is a band that I find really good. Not only they can really make music heavy and aggressive, but they can be bringing a lot of really dark pieces within their music. And I checked out Cover Killer Nation's review of this album, and he said that their first half on this album is really good, and the second half is like 6 or 6.5 out of 10, so it's like mixed bag. And it is a different album from this band for quite some time here. And so when I heard the opinions from Cover Killer Nation's review on this involving weak songwriting, I ended up actually quite worried, and I checked out the song Wrapped in Violence from this album, and for me that song to me is just not that great. It's not crap or anything, it's just pretty much not one of my favourite songs. It's just weak, judging from the weak songwriting. But when I checked out this whole album, I was actually really surprised. I think this is a really good Chimera album, but when it comes to the whole discography, I really do think that their earlier stuff is pretty much more memorable and better to listen to. And Chimera had been one of these bands that got me into metal, along with Slipknot, Korn, Trivium, Machine Head, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, System of a Down. There's so many that I can list out, but I just don't want to do that for this whole review because that'll take forever. But anyways, so this is going to be in the top 25 of the year, and it's not one of the top best albums of the year, but it's still a really good, enjoyable album to listen to. So yeah, this is the follow-up to 2011's The Age of Hell, and I can really understand that this album can be different by a lot of these places, and this album can really still bring back Chimera's same creativity and style of music and sound. And there's lots of brilliant songs in the album that are just really enjoyable, for songs like The Machine and No Mercy, I Despise, and Spineless, and just a lot of these really good tracks. So I really much do think that Chimera is still going really strong and well with this album. So yeah, even though the Chimera have been going through lots of different lineup changes, and the departures on some of the members involving Anders Herrick, their drummer, and I love Anders' style of drumming. He's my favourite drummer for this band, but this band is pretty much have been going through some new different musicians, and I do not find anything wrong with lineup changes. If Chimera wants to just do that, they can do whatever they want. It's like with other bands, obviously. So yeah, this album is still really good for what it is, and but just a lot of the songs as a whole. But I really do think that Chimera's earlier stuff is pretty much much more better for me. So yeah, Mark Hunter's vocals on this album, he's still going really well with his style of vocals, still very strong with his really harsh sounds of his screams and growls, whatnot, and his some pieces of his low, evil sounding spoken word things. Thunder! So yeah, Mark is one of my favorite metal vocalists. The guitar work on the album is still really good, enjoyable, and there's also some really impressive works on the guitar solos, and these guitar solos are really, really good. And it's just like the guitar solo work on Carcass's album, Surgical Steel, and they are really, really well done and impressive. And so is the guitar solo work on this album, to be honest, along with the others from the previous works from their discography. So the sound on the electric guitars is still very good, still has this raw sounding feel to it, and I always loved the really raw sound from the whole drum kit and the guitar sound and tone from the earlier Chimera albums, because they're just really top notch. The drumming is still really good in the album, but the sound of it, though, the sound on the drums to me is just not horrible, but it's just pretty much mediocre. I don't think it really can bring a lot of life into the whole evil atmosphere sounding from Chimera's music. So the sound of the drums to me is not that perfect, but you know, the sounds on the drums from the earlier albums are just really much more polished and better. But the whole performance of recording the drums is still very good. Still lots of really cool beats and some fast double bass pedaling and whatnot. So yeah, and also the other uses of the bass guitars and also the keyboards to make the music much more interesting to follow. So even though that there are some songs on this album that to me are really much quite weak, from the weak songwriting, and some of the songwriting on this album can be arguably simplistic from the songs that I'm not big fans of, but it's just Chimera. They can do whatever they want, and I respect for what this band are just trying to do for their own songs and writing material. So yeah, the record label for this album is Nuclear Blast Records, and Nuclear Blast Records, excuse me, had been one of my favourite record labels, along with Vertigo Records, Roadrunner Records, Napalm Records, and just all that great shiz. So yeah, I really do recommend this album for you guys to just check it out for yourself. And what do you guys think of this album? Just type your opinions in the comments below, or if you just want to review this album for yourself, that's fine by me. I don't have anything wrong with that whole thing. So even though this album can be pretty much quite a bit of an experimentation, involving some different songwriting, involving some breakdowns, but that's what Chimera did with just some breakdowns on the earlier albums. But when it comes to breakdowns, that's way too much. I always despise it. It's like deathcore involving bands like Immure. Too many breakdowns. I hated it so much. I just despise it. But Chimera with their breakdowns, they're not way too much at all. They can just put one breakdown on one song at a time and just do it from a couple of their different songs, and that is that. And the rain stopped, and the weather's just gone brighter. Strange weather. Anyways, that's my review on the new Chimera album, and just check it out for yourself. Like I said, I'm going to give Crown of Phantoms a 9 out of 10, and let me know what you guys think of this album. So, thank you guys for watching, and keep it metal.